Hey everyone, ArdrethShadow here and welcome back to Doki Fallen Angel. So previously, I finished the mod. I got the one and only ending. And it freaking destroyed me at the end. Oh, and well, Ice Queen Witch Monica finally got what she deserved, so there was that though, but anyways. Now, all that's really left for me to do is what I'm going to call the bonus video, where I just go through all the bits of dialogue that I didn't go through before. And, alright. So looking at my notes here, I pretended that I didn't hear anything. Now we're going to attempt to defuse the situation. I think you both are very talented and have huge... I think you're both very talented and have very unique writing styles. Bullshit! Okay, well, I sink back into my seat. I really need to start preparing myself for difficult questions like questions these girls might ask. Yep, and, well... Oh man, this is kind of freaky, having it go, like, pan in and out, or pan left to right like that. And, oh great. I still hate this part. Okay, so we're here now, so at the cafe, I ordered for Yuri. Now we're gonna try and let her order for herself. I think Yuri's got this. She lifts her arm. You know you can see her trembling in her shoes. With a shaky finger, she points at the menu. Can I have... She squeaks out a word that's barely audible. Ginseng? The cashier looks up at the menu behind him. Yeah, well, you do have that there. You said a ginseng? Yuri slightly nods. Alright, one green tea and one ginseng. I have to go to the bathroom. My cakes will burn.
My cakes will burn!
I pay for the order and find an empty table to sit at. After waiting for a few minutes, a puffy-eyed Yuri takes the seat across from me. Oh my... I'm sorry. It's okay, Yuri. We can forget this ever happened if you want. What are we talking about? Yuri deeply exhales. Okay. And... Yep, camarero comes with the tea, and I go with the skip. I still have to make this damn choice. I freaking hate it. And that still scares the hell out of me. I just realized this song kind of reminds me a little bit about the Kakariko Village music from, I guess, the original Zelda games, Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. And we can finally say I love you again and get like one of the best CGs in the game. And I skipped it. I'm sorry. Okay, well, so the Wheel of Morality failed me last time, and she looks so angry at me. I didn't realize that she was so angry. Okay, well, we know that the wrong answer is Thomas. His real name is Paul. Brain Blast! Okay, Jimmy Neutron. Paul Sheldon. Yuri looks shocked. I'm sorry, I doubted you. It's okay. No problem, Yuri. I doubted me too. We both turn back to the screen. And that's that. Is now my chance? It's a chance! I didn't get to say that in the other video. Well, I can redeem myself now. I guess I get to enter another name for the tree. I think I'm just gonna stick with Chisaki. Because, yeah, at this point, why not? And, oh, it's already back into fast forward. It only stopped me going from ludicrous speed for just a little while. Okay, well... I guess I'm just gonna test this out. It's not really gonna do much, I imagine. And yeah, perhaps we should change the topic. So... yeah, I imagine that kind of does flow a bit more naturally. Versus when I chose to talk about Sayori last, and then he says, let's change the topic, and then, oh, well, it's already over, so not much we can talk about now. Okay, here we go. So now, defend Yuri. What should I do? We're just gonna ignore them. I'd rather not get my lights knocked out today. Mark, I really don't think this is a good idea. Relax, I'm not gonna do anything. Yuri, stop worrying. You need to stand up for yourself. As your friend, I will not stand idly by as you get harassed by some assholes. You tell that asshole. Or, you tell those assholes. Ah. She's right, Natsuki. Huh? Giving them a reaction is what they want. Yeah, and that's pretty much like what my grandma used to tell me. They want to make you feel uncomfortable. They want to make you angry or cry or whatever because, as my grandma would put it, they're a bunch of idiots. They're just doing it because they want to. They don't even know why the hell they're doing it in the first place. They're just idiots being idiots. Ignore them and they'll move on. They'll move on to whatever else catches their attention. They only have like 5-second attention spans anyway, and probably brains no bigger than a Sakura petal. And between all of them, I bet they have the combined IQ of a peanut, so yes, that is probably the better idea. You can't give them what they want, because they'll win. Fine. You're right. I know. Orale, Mr. Badass over here. I give them each a warm smile. The two girls or the weirdos? Because I'm just saying, like, smiling at the weirdos is gonna probably give them the wrong impression. Thank you, Mark. That's very big of you. Come on, baby, you're not even gonna at least show us what's under that sweater? The fuck? She's not even wearing a sweater, you idiot. She's wearing a t-shirt. Know the difference. I'm going over there. Can we at least let Natsuki beat the crap out of them? No, you're not. Oh, come on. But... no. Don't do it. Never do it. No, no, no. Bad.
Don't do it. Never do it. No, no, no. Bad.
Fine. Well, if we're not going to beat them up, then why are we still standing here? Yeah, let's get out of here. I don't want to be next to these losers anymore. She has a point. We should get out of here. There's still plenty more of the festival to see. Yeah, we haven't even seen the hot dogs yet! Okay, well. And yeah, I'm glad that situation was handled. Yep, it was handled much differently this time. And, okay, well. There's only one other choice left for me to make. And... hi, bitch! Okay, well... so we're still going to talk about the group of boys, and... okay, well, she obviously didn't mention anything different there. And now we have my least favorite part of the mod. Well, second least favorite part of the mod. Okay, so I dropped the topic before. This time I'm going to press the topic. Yuri, you have to tell me what was in those messages. Well, considering that supposedly the dialogue doesn't really change the story very much at all, I imagine we have to wait until we confront Ice Queen bitch Monica and she tells us what was in the messages. I can't. Damn it, Yuri, you're not helping me. With every one of my attempts to get closer, she still pushes me away. This is bullshit. How can I help it if you don't tell me what's wrong? What could be in those messages that would make Yuri want to drop out? Do you regret falling in love with me, Mark? Oh my... Poor Yuri. That question comes out of nowhere. But I still form an answer. No. I regret believing that you had fallen for me. Yuri's taken aback from my statement. Okay, well. So in this case, now he's basically accusing Yuri of, like, you don't actually love me. Because in the other timeline, as I'm going to call it, he still felt betrayed because he felt like Yuri didn't really trust him enough to tell him and go to him about all this stuff. So the end result is pretty much still the same. He still feels as though Yuri just... like she's not being open and honest with him. So... And of course, here we are confronting Ice Queen Bitch 2.0. And yeah, that was one thing that I saw about the mod in some reviews I saw. That basically, it's like, what is this chick's problem? Like, why is she so obsessed with him? Like, it seems almost unprovoked. Like, I mean, I guess it's easy to say that, yeah, she's into him, but it's almost like, well, why exactly is she into him? Especially considering they didn't really interact all that much. Aside from her attempting to seduce him, like, in the very early stages of the game. But I guess we're just gonna assume that Monica goes full-on yandere, and she locks eyes onto Mark, and she's like, I'm gonna make you my man. And she goes yandere on Yuri, and tries to do everything she can to eliminate the competition. Because if it's one thing that Illyria taught me with her streams, it's that obsession is the driving force of a yandere's actions. Not so much the killing. It's the obsession. The killing just comes as a result of the obsession. So yeah, Asman was wrong. A yandere doesn't necessarily kill for love. The killing is just a bonus. Because basically, she just let her obsession drive her totally crazy. To the point where she hatched this stupid, insidious plot to ruin Yuri's life, all because she wanted this guy. Who clearly didn't really want anything to do with her, and even told her, like, go to hell. Which to her, I guess, means, like, the opposite of go to hell. And yeah, so that is, I guess that's sort of my 2 cents there with Ice Queen Bitch Monica. Well, all I can say is, I'm glad you're gonna get kicked out of school and have your life ruined. Personally, that's still too good for you, considering what ended up happening to Yuri and what you drove her to do, but at the very least, Karma's looking after you, and payback's a bitch. And so are you. Alright, well then I guess that's about it for Fallen Angel. And since I couldn't really give my final thoughts, especially since I didn't want to talk over the song, all I can say is that some people were surprised that I didn't really know anything about Fallen Angel other than how it was a very emotional Yuri mod, even as recognized by the fandom. Well, that's because I wasn't really involved with the fandom until late 2020, so you could very well say that my inability to install mods and my hesitation to get into playing more mods is what kept me in the dark about any spoilers having to do with Fallen Angel. And then it also helps that I guess at some point when I did make the decision to play mods on my own, I kind of sort of stopped watching other people's videos if it was about a mod that I was interested in playing for myself. That way it's like, okay, yep, spoiler alert, nope, get away from me, nope.
Don't do it. Never do it. No, no, no. Bad.
But of course, well, now I'm free to watch any sort of spoilers for Fallen Angel that I so desire. And so in the end, it was definitely... I can see why it is in that legendary status along with Exit Music. It has some very powerful emotional driven moments, especially when you do have to see Yuri's death, which just really hits you very hard. And it hit me very hard because, as I expressed in my original videos, it made me think back to my own life a bit when I lost my mother, and how there was just a maelstrom of emotions going on there. And in a sense, it was almost like I was reliving a part of that through this. So a lot of that emotion that you saw in episode 6, that was real. That was legit me crying my heart out because I was so... like, it broke me. I know some people told me about how the CG was very frightening, and yes, it is very unnerving just to see that. But what really got me, though, was everything that happened after seeing that CG. Like, you get to see the impact after what happened when MC found Yuri, and just how he struggles to deal with that. And as I mentioned in that other video, it seemed that a lot of the predictions or assumptions I made ended up coming true after all. Like I said, the only thing I knew about this mod going into it was that it was going to be like super sad and depressing, and that it was focused around Yuri. So, doing the math in my head, I could only have assumed that something was going to happen to Yuri. I didn't know what exactly was going to happen to her, but I assumed something that would involve death. But like I said, I didn't know how that was going to happen, how that was going to come about. I just knew that it was going to happen. So all the time where there were like all these moments, especially with Asakura's guide, where they promise each other to read it once it comes out, like that really hit me, because I'm here like, oh my god, if I have the feeling that Yuri is going to end up dead, and essentially this promise is going to be unfulfilled in that regard. And that was also why the whole time I figured that, considering they're alluding to this book so much, there's going to have to be some kind of a scene with it. Because otherwise, I mean, why would they write about the book and then not talk about it ever again? Well, at least that is how I would feel about it. So I figured that there would be something of an epilogue, which of course there was, that would have him reading the book as to kind of honor Yuri's memory. Although the way they did it was just kind of unexpected to me. Just because I kind of figured it would be a little more of a muted scene, in the sense of it wouldn't be as emotionally hard-hitting. But considering it was, that just really made all those emotions like stir up again, and I was like, it really hit me hard again. Especially when I think of, again, I think of my mother, I think of Maddie, who, as I mentioned, I don't know how many times before, but the ArdrethShadow channel is literally like a love letter to Maddie and everything that she ever taught me about video making. And how she basically indirectly taught me how to make the channel that she would never be able to make herself. So it just brought back all these feelings and emotions, memories I had, and that's what really hit it home for me. So, in that sense, you could say that, yeah, as Mr.ZeraTheMant told me, this mod wasn't voted for being, like, super emotional for no reason. It is going to break you, it is going to make you cry, but I would say that it is a worthy experience to go through, especially as someone who adores Yuri as one of their favorite DDLC girls, and you know, as I mentioned, Sayori and Yuri are like constantly tied for me since they both mean so much to me. And of course Monika's in a category of her own, but of course we won't go into that very much. So, at the very least, I can say that I knew this mod was sad, and I knew that it was possibly going to break me, but I still wanted to give this a shot because it's such a well-known mod. As I mentioned, I consider it to be like one of the sort of legendary mods alongside Exit Music because of how much of an impact they made on the community. I knew about the impact it made, but I didn't really know so much about the mod itself. So I felt like, well, I should probably just put my money where my mouth is and actually play this for myself. As a bit of a rite of passage, and to kind of show some respect to the people who made the mod. Because I definitely feel like they deserve a lot of recognition here. So otherwise, there isn't really a whole lot else for me to say. Especially considering I said a lot of what I did want to say in past videos. Whether it be about the ending, or just little moments here and there before the ending that I loved. Especially, I mentioned how I loved the date scene where they're going around town, the poetry slam, the fancy restaurant, and so I mean, it does a good job in conveying emotion and making you feel for the characters. So that way, in a sense, once you get to the climax of the mod at the very end, it just hits you that much harder because you've spent so much time with these characters and you've watched them get closer together. And I imagine that if I hadn't known that the mod was going to be very sad and depressing at the end, there's a good chance that it would have hit me much harder. Because, like I mentioned, I had to kind of hold off on like saying anything about the ending in certain parts. Like if you notice that I cut in certain spots in the videos, especially about the promise that they made about reading the book. I even said like why are you doing this or whatever, because deep down I had a gut feeling that yeah, that things weren't going to end well for Yuri and for him to a lesser extent. So had I been totally blind to it and not been spoiled, or if I had never ever heard anything about Fallen Angel and I had just found out about this game, like, oh, I want to download this now and play this, and just stayed oblivious to everything else, it probably would have hit me that much harder. But I guess, considering there's only so much I can take, given how what am I trying to say? How emotional I can get over something, whether it be something like the ending to Your Lie in April, which just utterly destroyed me, or probably the worst case, me accepting that my mother was dead. That was probably like the hardest I'd ever cried in my life, and if my aunt were probably still here, she could probably tell you how much in pain I was upon crying my heart out and just trying to accept that my mother was gone. But anyways, well, this bonus video is going to be very short, I imagine, considering how much is going to be cut out. In fact, I imagine the only thing that's going to be like taking up the majority of the video at this point is going to be my final thoughts, because I had a lot of them, but then I recorded that video for 3 hours, and then I didn't know how the hell I was going to edit it, so I just figured I'll just make a bonus video like I sometimes do, and then give my final thoughts there. That way I don't make it more difficult on myself in editing, and it's not going to be as crazy for people viewing the videos later on. But anyways, well, thank y'all for watching, and oh man. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see you guys next time with whatever else I do. Stay golden, and later, folks. Where are you two off to? We're gonna go play doctor. What does it matter to you?